I didn't want to sound dramatic with this, but I didn't really want to show my face either because I'm disheveled and nasty as usual, but I guess part of me is a bit more acutely aware of that at the moment. Uh, I'm going to die young. And that's not. I'm smiling about it right now because I think it's very silly. That it isn't some kind of amusing or attention-seeking theatrics. It's fact. It's a true thing. And I I I don't know whether to elaborate further or to just leave it like vague and just to fuck with you guys. Wouldn't that be a classic Spencer move? Just like one last time, just fuck with you guys. I think that'd be pretty funny. So I'm gonna do that. But this is something I've known for 7 years. And it's something that I forget about sometimes because there are many distractions in life. And I'm not threatening anything or something like that. I'm not going to hurt myself in any way or anything like that, but it is a health thing. It is part of how I live and how I function. And it will take me. And it's something I don't bring up to family or friends very often. Because, of course, people get sad. I think a lot of people in over the course of my life would hear this and think like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. Spencer's gonna die young. And they think that's great. And good for them, you know, to let them have that idea of power that I'm going to be gone and that I will never have the same atoms that exist in this universe meet theirs. And I can't say I wouldn't celebrate the same about some people. I would be lying if I said I wouldn't be happy to know that some people I really, really don't like would die young. So, I guess that's only fair, right? But when you are, I feel like I already said this, acutely aware that you are going to die before the average person even comes close to, it, of course, can be morose and contemplative. And I guess what's been on my mind is time. And time's a thief. And it is always taking, and every second and every breath and every dumb word that comes out of my mouth, time will steal away from me. And even in the 1 millisecond that passes, it is so infinitely behind me. Cats are running around out there. So infinitely behind me and so infinitely gone, with no way of me ever being able to have it again. In the last 3 years, I have lost a lot of people very close to me. I first lost my step-grandmother, which I think I did a video about, pretty sure, to talk about it, where it was right around my 21st birthday or so. And a good friend of mine committed suicide, and I'm choosing not to mince words because I think it is disingenuous, especially with a topic like this. Then later, my dad's biological mother passed away, and then shortly after, my dad's biological grandfather passed away, and last spring, my mom's biological mother passed away, and then over the summer, I had another very close friend commit suicide, and a little later, and this is all kind of related to why I haven't been posting much, because it's hard to, be like, oh yeah, more dumb action figure videos or shit like that when there's stuff like this going on. And then, later in the semester, around October, another friend of mine killed themselves, and shortly after that, a professor I had who I was very, very close with passed in his sleep from natural causes. He was also relatively young, and it's had me thinking. Nobody will ever have enough time. Nobody ever will, because there's always more to do, and more people to meet and love, and more actions to take, and more things to say, and more art to experience and create. And I say that, and that's so cliche and kind of boring, but really I'm glad that I'm going to die, because it makes all the things that have happened to me infinitely more meaningful. I've ever since I was like 16, before I was properly diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I felt it then that I was going so fast and everything moves so quickly. Now, I can't get in anybody else's head. I can't see their perspective. I can't see what the world looks like to them. I don't know what their smells smell like, and I don't know what their colors look like. And there will never be a way for me to look through their eyes. And one of the parts of having bipolar is that a lot of people will jump to these conclusions where they're, and this could go from what I've heard of personality disorders in addition to other mood disorders, is that things are heightened, right? These feelings, these senses. And I choose not to agree with that, because I have no way of knowing what it feels like for this person to feel this emotion versus how I feel it. I have no idea. But when I try to put this ineffable sensation into words for people, they don't feel that way. So I guess it creates some kind of validity for what I feel when I describe it as such, that everything is moving so fast. I am currently 23 years old and have spent the past 5 years in college. Isn't that embarrassing that I spent that much time in college? 4.5. I took a gap semester. Well, more like 4. I took 2 gap semesters when I was doing something else. So I guess the past 4 years of my life, I've ignoring those 2 semesters that weren't next to each other, I've been in academia. And part of me feels robbed, to say the least. And it's not that I don't think education is important. I think if you have the opportunity to get any sort of formal training or education, then you are incredibly lucky. I am incredibly grateful I am able to have what I have. But at the same time, I'm also thinking, oh, I've spent almost half of my 20s writing fucking papers and doing exams when, people are backpacking across Europe and staying in hostels in Cambodia and big adventurous things like that. Now, is that just because their parents are just super enabling with something like that? Who knows, right? But, the fleeting youth I already have. I don't know. It's hard to say because there's so much in college that I've loved so deeply, but so much that I've just fucking hated. So I don't know whether to complain about it or not because it's inevitable for me to be like, I have to take a fucking final, and I'm as of recording it is December 10th, and today was my last day of my hopefully last fall semester in college. I just did my last final about 4 hours ago, and I think I did well on it. I remembered most of that stuff. And it really started getting to me on why I wanted to talk about this, because I was thinking, this is my last winter break. Ever. Unless there's some world where I pursue a PhD or doctorate where I would not be working at the same time, which is ridiculous, where I would get to have some kind of fall break. Or maybe I became a professor or teacher of some kind. Not a fall break, a winter break. And I would also have a winter break. But that's probably not what's going to happen. And I was thinking about that. That this is my last winter break. And as I march on to a sentence that I don't know when it will appear, but I'm acutely aware that it will appear sooner than I think. And this is the last time I'll get to just be at home playing video games for a month and picking my nose and looking at my action figures and doing whatever stupid shit I drawing on the walls, whatever I get up to as the world's least intelligent YouTube user and poster. But I was thinking about that, and it made me a little contemplative. And it made me think of people that I don't have anymore. Like I mentioned earlier, all my grandparents are now dead. Both my parents are orphans, and I sure believe it's much harder for them than it is for me, but it's also sad because I was very close to my grandparents. Oh, sorry, I hit the microphone. And not only that, I have lost 2 great friends and a mentor. And I think on that, and I think selfishly, I think, you fucker, right? 3 friends. I guess I wasn't counting the last one because I was a few years ago, but I think, you fucker, right? You get to do this shit, You get to be here longer. And I don't get to spend what little time I have with you. And that's where it breaks my heart. And I think about that for a lot of other people who I can't, be around anymore. Like lost friendships and stuff like that. In addition to people dying, like just losing contact with people or things going differently or just anything like that. It makes me want to lash out and be like, you piece of shit. I'm gonna die. Right? It makes me want to be like that. You fucker. I'm going to die before you, so I want you to hang out with me more. And there are definitely relationships where I thought it was better to end things. But it's not like I don't think about you anymore. It's not like that's erased. It's not like I forgot the past where good things did happen. Because I've been lucky for most of my life to have the people I was close to and then ended up not being close to at least have some good things happen that I can look back on and think like, oh, that was nice that happened. You know, all this other shit sucked, but this was nice. And it just really pisses me off, you know. This kid I met in a Fallout New Vegas, like Instagram accounts, like he had a big account, and then the guy went off and deactivated his account, so we were just in charge of the group chat. And like not even a month after he turned 18, he fucking killed himself. And it makes me so fucking mad because I had no idea he felt that way. And I would have done something. I would have said something because, you know, I'd been there before, you know, through me going to rehab, through me going to psychiatric wards because I was so fucked up and weird that, you know, and that's like believing that it was intentional, right? And, you know, you don't know. And that's like one of the scary parts of life is that people will just disappear, especially in like this age where everything is done through fucking phone screens, and I hate it so goddamn much that it's like this. That the people I love most are across the goddamn country, that I don't get to see my big brother every day because I live in a different city than him, and I don't get to see my other big brother because he lives in California. My best friends are, you know, other losers like me who I met on the internet. The people I love most are like that. And it's like there was some robbery, you know, some fuckery that, you know, I have this sense of superiority even though I'm objectively weirder and more fucked up than the average person. And so I just sit in this circle jerk with other weirdos who think the same, and I love those people so goddamn much. And it's only really been one of them that I've said, like, listen, this is what's going to happen to me. Because I don't want to scare people. And I think the thing that really scares people about it is that it doesn't scare me. You know, because I've lived with this for almost a decade, that I accept these circumstances. That I'm not going to be here as long as you. And I guess that's what made a really big change in my perspective of how I wanted to be a human being. Because, like, when I was a teenager, I was a really shitty guy. And I don't trust nobody with no regrets. Because I think if you live a life where you don't have any regrets, then you've never contemplated on any mistakes you've made. Or you're Jesus or something. And you're not. You're not Jesus. I don't trust anybody like that. I don't trust anybody who says shit like that. I was really fucking mean and shitty when I was younger. And, you know, after I got clean and after I got diagnosed and I learned everything that was going on with me and what would happen, I just started being nice to people. And a lot of people stopped wanting to be my friend because of that. Because I didn't have fun, you know, being in Discord servers, torturing some guy who was probably just like high-functioning autistic anymore. Because that's not who I wanted to be. And that's not what I'm going to be. Because I don't know how much time exactly I have to leave a mark on the world. And a very lucky few get that chance to do something big and just gorgeous and meaningful. I'm not going to be one of them. That's okay. But I want that circle that people who were tolerant enough to let me stay around, to talk to me, to be friends with me, will look at it, long after I'm out of here and say, he was nice. And I know that a lot of people, never got to see me be the person that I'm trying real desperately to be, and they'll live the rest of their lives just remembering how much of a shithead I was, because I picked on them in high school, or because I made fun of them over the internet for being a furry or something. And I can't not accept that. I can't just be like, okay, whatever. Because I need to, take into account what person I was and what I did then to those people. But that doesn't mean I still have to be that way. There are some fucking losers who stalk my account, and they're gonna think this is like the greatest shit ever when they hear this. And hey, looks like I made you happy in the end, right? But I just wish I could spend my life just only doing things that make me happy, and being with people who make me happy, and making people happy, and being nice. And I can at least do one of those. And I can at least continue to choose to be kind over cruel. And I'm going to try my best to do that. But I guess I'm just so thankful for all the people who I've had in my life for a long enough point that I get to love them, and I get to be lucky enough to be loved by them. I'm going to die young, and that's okay. I'll see you guys around. The next one will be happier. Thanks.